hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Tuesday, the 28th of October, and we are live. We are here. We gonna talk some more Arsenal because Mikel Arteta has conducted an interview before the Brighton game. He has talked about the injuries. He has talked about other bits and bobs here or there, so we're definitely gonna tackle that. We're gonna talk about other few things, of course, and obviously one of the topics we're gonna talk about today are Arsenal fans overreacting because the overall social media understanding and everything, how they are saying already we're gonna win the league, we will gonna beat Chelsea's defense record and all this stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not sitting well with me because it's way too early to tell. That Chelsea record can be gone in 2 games. Winning the league also can be gone. You cannot win league in 9 games, but you definitely can lose a league in 9 games. Let's be real. And yeah, it's very interesting. I thought I throw my few cents in the ring and see what happens. Let's see what you people say as well. So we're gonna talk about all that. So just before we do all this stuff, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and don't forget to leave your thoughts down the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, and we can go from there. Of course, people, let's see what you think as well in the chat. Let's see what you're doing. Arsenal, of course, today have released new merch, which is also obviously quite amazing. That's just obviously a joke in those terms. But yeah, new merch from Arsenal, the banana merch apparently. Shop has new items. We're gonna go and check that as well. Like the banana, I don't know what were the cups or whatever it was. So it's all over the place. It definitely is all over the place. Let's just put it that way. Bruised banana stuff. Let's just put it that way. That's something that Arsenal have released in these times as well. And here it is, people. Here it is. We're going to kick things off with a bang. Arsenal releasing some more merchandise. Let's just put it that way. Not to say overall merch, but definitely some new merch. You can get some Stay Chill stacking tumblers, straw tumblers, and flip straw tumblers with humbles. But yeah, basically it's 60 quid for the big one, 52 for the medium sized one, and I guess like for the most basic one, it's 28 quid. And there are some regular Arsenal ones, Stanley 1913 with the iced flow. And though they also cost a pretty penny to say the least. Are you getting any of those? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think, people, because these are kind of nuts to say the least. 50 quid, 50, 60 quid for this stuff. It seems kind of expensive. Obviously, I get it. Like, if you have some cash lying around, maybe you would take it, but I'm not too sure. The banana ones definitely look nice. The banana ones look kind of nice for me, at least. But for me, the banana merch is more for the shirts, not for the cups. Let's just put it that way, especially when you put banana merch on these cups when we haven't won cups these days. So it is a bit of a worrying sign. Let's just put it that way. Big up, Andrew. Although I just tuned in, I didn't appreciate the yellow blast of the merch. Yeah, same. Because it should not be like that. You should put some disclaimer. To be honest, there are also red ones. If you like some, there are also red ones. They cost cheaper, by the way. The big one, the red one in general, is £55, and the banana one is £60. So what does grant you the 5 quid more? What does that grant you? Let's just put it that way. Those 5 quid, what does that give you more? The memories, the nostalgia, who knows? But yeah, definitely. It is a weird one. Big up, Most Wanted. Who's not injured, we should ask. Like, it is nuts, to be honest. The injuries are starting to pile up a tiny bit. It's not desperation panic settings as of yet, but it is a bit worrying. Let's just put it that way. It is a bit worrying, to say the least, in those terms, without shadow of a doubt. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, there are lots of stuff to talk about today because we're going to tune into some Mikel Arteta waffle settings as well. We're going to kick it off early in the stream because I want to get it out of the way as quickly as possible. Let's just put it that way. So like the stream, subscribe, and prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves for the madness we are about to witness here. Let's see what Mikel Arteta had to say. We take on Brighton in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup tomorrow, people. Mikel Arteta has been speaking to the press, Mikel Arteta has been speaking to the press. After defeating Portugal 2-0 in the third round, we host the Seagulls at Emirates in what will be our 250th encounter in the competition's history. Let's see. Mikel Arteta on Saliba's fitness. He's out. Saliba is out injured. We are assessing him, but he won't be involved in this match, which now raises the question. How serious is that injury? Will he be involved on the weekend against Burnley? That is another question that stems from all of it. On Declan Rice, he will be available. So set pieces are on, people. Set piece FC, set piece again, ole is still kicking on strong. Calafiori looks like he's going to be okay. Bukayo Saka as well looks like he's going to be okay. And on Gabriel Martinelli, yeah, it looks like he's going to be out. We have to do some more tests. So it doesn't look like he's going to be out. He's definitely going to be out because we need to do more tests and see the extent of the injury. But this game is going to be too early for him. We need to figure out still what's wrong with Martinelli, which is not a great sign overall. On Danny Welbeck and Brighton, very happy for him. If he will make changes to this side, let's see if Arteta is going to rotate. We're going to try to manage the minutes and the loads as best we can because, as you say, we have a lot of games coming up with a very short recovery time, which is a bit unusual, but we are going to remain very competitive. Now, I'm not a stickler, right? But which is a bit unusual. It's not the first season you are playing 3 games in a week and back to back to back as well, by the way. So in which universe this is a bit unusual? It's not unusual. It's very common these days for the top teams to be involved in 3 competitions at the same time. Let's be real. It's not that uncommon, man. Relax. And if you listen to the noise about the tile credentials, that's what they want, I think, when our people are excited and we see that the team is competing at the level consistently. There are the right reasons to believe, and that's the main thing. You want to win big trophies, you certainly have to install that feeling amongst the team, the club, and around it, and we're in really good position at the moment, but we know how early it is and how difficult every game is. Hey. But if he feels like a trendsetter with our set pieces prowess, I don't know, with a lot of things that we do in many other aspects, I'm sure teams will pick them up. Well, keep shoveling. On the connection to our fans, we always want more, but I think I said it after the match against Palace that I really like the atmosphere. It's always tricky after a big match in midweek against Atletico to reproduce that, but it certainly was a great atmosphere to play football. Well, yeah, it was a 50-50. On our forward options, and this is a big one because Saka apparently is good, Gyökeres is there, Martinelli is out, Trossard is most likely going to start, which at the end of the day means that Ranieri should be getting minutes. I expect also Max Daumann to get minutes, by the way, if this is the case that we have no forwards, by the way. In the front lines especially, that's where we have more difficulties as well with Madueke, Kai Havertz and Jesus out, Martinelli out as well. So that's the area we have to be more careful as well, more conscious because we don't have that many options. I'm not gonna lie, this quote alone, this one specifically, leads me to believe we're not gonna take unnecessary risks in the attack, which also leads me to believe, by the way, that we're gonna see another stinkfest. Let's just put it that way. Not gonna get too much into details, but I expect another stinkfest on the way tomorrow. So as I said, we are going to try to manage the load as good as possible to make sure that the players are fresh, they can compete really well, and the team can maintain the level, and it's showing. And the importance of the Carabao Cup. Today, the most important one because it's a game that we have it. It's competition that we haven't won in many, many years. Like try 3+ decades. And it has to start tomorrow. We have to play a great team in order to be able to beat a very good Brighton side. We know that we are prepared for that, and we know it show on the pitch. On Ben White's fitness. Yeah, he had a setback, and that hasn't helped. I think in preseason, he was probably our best player. I would argue that about Max Daumann, Ranieri. I think he played every game, and he was in great form, and we need him because when Ben White is at the level that he can show, he's a top player for us, a player that drives the team in different way, gives us different threat on the flank, as well as we need the best of him at his abilities. On if he can make the England World Cup squad. We'll see. On the defensive evolution, here we go. Evolution is back again in his time in charge. Well, yes, because I think we discussed the other day about very close relationship between keeping clean sheets and not conceding goals. Well, that's the aim, isn't it? That's the aim, isn't it? And he is right that if he is fit and on it, he's actually very, very good for us. He's very useful for us. But again, the fact that he played months injured with the necessity of the surgery, it's not great, first of all. Second of all, he most likely is not going to start tomorrow. When Yeri must start. Where, though? Where is he going to start instead of Eze, most likely, like we talked about it yesterday? I think the only injured for Brighton game, they only injured. Might be the case. Might also be the case. I knew it. You can't just help yourself stay away from the Waffle House. Dude, you have been here long enough to know that Waffle House is a casual visit, a regular visit for us in general. In general, let's just put it that way. But we are doing this. Oh, but yeah, he's definitely gonna mention it 100%. But we'll see. Waffle House business is always a place where we do some stuff. He's right. Yeah. And White is becoming like Tomiyasu. Oh, 100%. Our squad depth is melting away, and that is a worry. Still questions around Hinkapie, Timber, White, Rice, Saka. Are they fit enough to continue the same pace? And there is where the squad depth is gonna get tested. Let's just put it that way. Our squad depth is gonna get tested. And we need to figure that out without shadow of a doubt. So we'll see what is what and where we land with this. Big up, Doctor. Big up the Doctor. Big up. I messaged you in the WhatsApp. If you've seen the message, you can definitely jump on. Big up the Doctor of the Butts. Big up Doctor of the Seymour Butts. That sounds kind of mad. Pause. Hinkapie's versatility. Okay, the noise made around us. It's because it's such a big club. There's always been a noise about us. On Ethan Nwaneri's positional change this season, a bit of everything. At the end, the context of Bukayo's injuries and not having a replacement as well opened that opportunity for him to break in and have a lot of minutes. Yeah, but when Odegaard was injured last year, he was nowhere near the minutes, ironically enough. He much rather play Merino, Zinchenko, Havertz, Trossard there, anyone besides Nwaneri. So we'll see if he gets any minutes tomorrow. But for me, tomorrow, he has to start. I'm not going to lie. Definitely, he has to start tomorrow without shadow of a doubt. Let's be right there. Big up. 100%. No rush. Stream just began. We have some injuries, but it isn't worrying me. Is that okay? Normally, this time previous season, injuries gave me a meltdown. Oh, 100%. 100%. Because at the moment, we have the depth. We have the best squad depth. We have the best squad in the league. So it's going to be tested right now. How much we can rotate, how much this team can pick up slack, how much the backups can do the job. At the moment, it's not worrying. It's going to become worrying if the backups also, some of them, will get injured due to the lack of game time. Who is going to be the backup for the backup? Then it could be a bit different story, I'm not going to lie. Big up Sheldon. We love it here in the Waffle House. Exactly. Get some syrup, get some hot cocoa, whiskey, whatever, and just relax and enjoy. And if he sets out who is the first choice keeper, I never do that. But Roy is the number one. Has been incredibly good for us in the last few years, and Kepa knew that when he came in, but he's ready to compete. Hopefully he starts tomorrow. On if Kepa's mindset has helped improve Raya, you would expect that. And if he could still make a goalkeeper substitute in a game. Recently, we had quite a lot of issues. Yeah, it is. On the setback to Ben White after preseason. It was an injury that kept him out for a few weeks. And we have to manage his load, and he didn't have the rhythm to do that. So the reason why he's not being playing is to manage that. He's in a good place now. He's been training more recently. His feeling has been very good, and he will have minutes to play. So most likely he's going to be playing tomorrow by the looks of things. At least. White's injury is down to Arteta overplaying the guy. Saka came close. We need new right back to prevent Timber breakdown. Yeah. And Timber has broken down tiny bit on occasion as well. Ben White played how many months with the necessity of surgery? It definitely is not great. Must play Kepa this game, otherwise, why is Kepa here? True. And if Ben White had needed to have surgery sooner, I don't know. That's more for the medical staff. It's on the medical staff, yet you persisted to play him months in the necessity of a surgery. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Seriously. But yeah, people, today on the stream, we are joined by the man from Antarctica, by Dr. Seymour Butts. The local doctor is in the house. Big up.
What's up to you, man? Thanks for having me. You know, I was just reading that surgical comment, and let me tell you, if I was still operating at London Colney, I would be giving you a much more comprehensive, detailed report than that superficial nonsense there.
Oh, 100%, like with the full details by everything, all detailed to the maximum extent, but to the end. But do you think there is that just type of miscommunication? Because it kind of feels like the both things cannot be true, that Arteta doesn't listen to the medical staff, or the medical staff basically gives wrong information.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really great point. So I guess like the most common example that I think of is when people are seeking to avoid fault or taking responsibility for something, right? They'll always say, "Oh, well, it was this person, or it was this group of people." And then when you go to that group of people or that individual, they say, "Well, we said this, we provided this information, hand it on over." Like Mikel likes to pretend that he doesn't speak English, despite the fact that he's been in England for the last 2 decades or so. So I mean, it's. I think we all secretly know that he knows what's going on. He's trying to play verbal gymnastics as far as as far detailing what he wants us to know versus what is actually occurring.
Yeah, he's playing mind games with the opponent and the fan base to some extent.
Dark arts,
It works. It works 100%. But yeah, the news that Saliba is out, Martinelli is not playing, he still needs some tests. It's not a great sign at the end of the day. It definitely is not a great sign. And someone said in the chat, are they only injured for the Brighton game alone?
Well, and in fact, I had asked on Jez's channel whether Rice will be out for the weekend as well. I think we've seen this reoccurring pattern. Well, in fact, there are 2 reoccurring patterns, right? So there's one reoccurring pattern of minimizing injuries for the fan base not to get worried and concerned, and then there's been this reoccurring pattern of falsifying the extent and the severity of injuries, so that teams are not potentially preparing for those, for those players to come into the squad. I mean, it's all just a bunch of nonsense, because at the end of the day, we know that it's just these mind games that are being exerted as a way for Arteta to try and find some type of advantage to get over the line.
Yeah, Zinchenko said that himself in the book. I haven't read it, but people say that.
Oh, don't be coy. I'm sure you've read that book on your free time.
Yeah, I have it framed as well on the wall and everything. But yeah, he said that players who are even injured take their showered stuff and gear or whatever with them as they come off the bus and everything, just to plant that seed in the heads of the opposing team. He tries to do something sneaky all the time. But yeah, it's a weird situation with those things, because sometimes when you read those comments, it's like copy paste, maybe rephrased a bit, but it feels like it's the same message for every injury. And it's always, well, we need to do some more tests. Then it's just a knock and he will be back soon. And then all of a sudden the player's out for a few months. And it somehow never changes for some weird reason.
It's almost very reminiscent of those scripts that you see in, say, FIFA career modes, right? So for example, the manager, rather they're being asked 3 generalized questions, and then you have 3 generalized answers and responses that you can give. It just seems to be a very similar playbook out of that. And as I'm sure that you would agree, as many others have, like myself, have always been so bothered by this because whatever kind of quasi journalism is existing in these press conferences is nothing more than just quasi journalism. I mean, like it is preschool Fisher Price level, like and when Arteta provides an answer like that, the reporters there need to be following up saying, okay, well, like rather like digging in for more details, digging in for more information. But as we know, if they put Arteta's feet to the fire, they won't be invited to another press conference again.
Yeah, no more tea and biscuits at the party. Basically, like it feels that way. It feels that way. Big offended. Big offended. Yeah, people, like and subscribe. And actually, I genuinely don't know what your channel's name because I always forget. It's like American. I don't know what it's.
Oh, it's America's Public Servant. Yeah, but you know what? I was just sitting and realized, that we can, like if we were to do this on a more like permanent basis, we can make this, like a Eastern European, kind of scope here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even get like our broad Andrew on here as well. You know what I mean? We can make it into like a whole, like Baltic Ukrainian kind of ordeal here. You know what I'm saying?
Like a universal thing, it could happen here at the end of the day. But yeah, and it's weird, like when he answers those questions, nobody fact checks them. Nobody. Like for me, obviously the one that instantly shoots through my mind is when you hear stuff like this is about the points tally for the last 3 seasons, where he says we have accumulated the most points over the last 3 seasons, and when you actually do the math, well, Man City has more. And then Arteta says, well, it's a miracle we haven't won anything. Is it really? Is it really?
Like there are some fans here, again, to their credit, not everyone has started watching Arsenal at the same time, right? So certainly there are going to be some varying perspectives. But that being said, though, the world didn't just start when they started watching Arsenal. There's an entire history behind it as well. As there are likely, you'll always find someone that has been supporting Arsenal longer than yourself. It's just the nature of the beast. Honestly, I don't give. Am I allowed to swear here? I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful to your channel, but I mean, I couldn't give a toss. I couldn't give an absolute toss about these like clean sheet records, about these like defensive records. They're nice. They are nice. But it's still secondary, even tertiary for that matter. The most important thing, the sole and exclusive objective, my fucking tea kettle, the sole and exclusive objective is to get over the line and see armpits in May. That's it.
Yeah.
Always has been. Hold on, let me just take care of this TV.
Okay, all good.
1 sec. Jesus Christ, not like.
Right, yeah. I'm big up, Andrew. I'm too shy on my football IQ one. Like, trust me, it's a big different thing. Like football IQ, obviously, it's not. Sometimes it's not obligated to have because you can have your opinion without having a massive football IQ. And to be honest, but sometimes looking at some videos and everything, I start to judge. To be honest, it's obviously always relative because who do you compare your football IQ to? Because if I compare for example, to Jez, to Lee, to Shane, to someone like that, my football IQ is literally double digits. Let's just put it that way. But if I compare my football IQ to some other streamers, my football IQ would be in, let's just say, 130s, 140s comparatively. It's all relative. Don't worry about that. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. Big up, Charles. Big up. Question for both of us. I can't speak. Who are the 1 or 2 players in our squad that have no substitutes available as depth and will really hurt our capabilities to get a result? Champions League night or top 4 clash?
If you want, I can. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Declan Rice.
Yeah, that's the obvious one. Obviously, the first one, because if he's out, that kind of disrupts Well, based on how we play right now, well, 90% of Arteta's plans during games. Set pieces, the running, he does everything. He's like our most important midfielder
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
and certainly to his credit, many folks, including myself, while we were seeing him at West Ham, like he was always more oriented as a, rather as like sitting like right at the base of midfield, like cleaning up, like he has really added some technicality like to his game, and his dead ball takes are just like they're phenomenal. I'm sure that there are a lot of Hammers fans that would have never expected like that type of growth. So I mean, like he is. And to be fair, like we've for as many years as we can recall, dating back to the days where say like Vieira and Gilberto Silva had left, like we were always craving that type of like defensive midfielder, and there were so many squads that were missing a player like Rice. So the fact that we had brought in Norgard, like, give me a break. That is not going to provide any stop. Honestly, like in my humble subjective opinion, bringing on Norgard for Rice is like the equivalent of bringing on Holding for Saliba.
Yeah, that's how we replaced him when he got injured.
Yeah,
and also would argue it took him up until this summer to actually have a Saliba replacement, and that also is kind of because of Andrea Berto more than anything in Mosquera, if you're looking at that way. But yeah, Declan Rice is one of those, and it's actually quite great to see Declan Rice kick on, because this upward spiral in terms of deliveries mostly, I would argue, has begun since the Real Madrid game mostly. Like maybe it has been more attention. It has gotten more attention because since then he has been quite substantially more on free kicks, dead ball situations in general, corners and set pieces and everything, and it's paying dividends. Fair plays with him, how he has perfected those crosses. Like, it's actually kind of nuts. We haven't had that, well, for a decade.
For a very long time.
Yeah, it's actually insane. Let's just say two players. The second one, I don't even know, to be honest. I want to say Saka, but technically he has a replacement, but maybe not that deep of a replacement, depending on who is out, because Gyökeres I cannot count, because it's quite evident that we play Gyökeres in a system that's catered more to Havertz, which
Correct.
is obviously not working for us. So maybe him, maybe Timber, with looking at how Ben White is struggling. We haven't seen Mosquera enough at right back to say anything.
Like it's also probably premature, but I think even Eze has a shout as that second player. I mean, even despite the fact that he's been here for such a short period of time, despite the fact that he hasn't really hit the heights that we know that he is capable of reaching, I think he's levels above Odegaard. I think he offers a lot more dynamism in that area, and I know that some people were saying, it would be interesting to see both of them play consecutively together, in that midfield trio, or perhaps like Eze on the left, and Odegaard in the 10. But I think. Like the way that I'm seeing it, I'm seeing Odegaard being phased out of the squad, just like how Zinchenko was several years ago. And I think we're either right on the cusp or getting close to that stage where I think we're actually growing out of Odegaard. Maybe I'm wrong in seeing that. I don't know, but
yeah, but that again for me now raises the big questions. Obviously, we were on the cusp of seeing it. And obviously he got injured straight before the international break, which was kind of unfortunate because the starting 11 was the one we wanted to see, Eze and Odegaard together. But then now, if we look from that perspective, that maybe we are phasing Odegaard out, it kind of now makes Arteta look even, not to say dumber, but worse because preseason everyone's questioning his captaincy. Pretty much unanimous vote by the team that he should be the captain. He's like undroppable to some extent and everything. Like, what does that say if we are phasing out our captain from the own team? Like, that definitely doesn't put our players, Arteta, or the club in general in a very good light.
And I should also clarify that I don't think Arteta is I don't think Arteta is personally phasing Odegaard out. I think I think I think Odegaard himself is phasing himself out of the squad, whether because of poor performances, whether because of injuries, whether because of just a lack of consistency. I think that was also one of the reasons why Eze was brought in. I don't think he was brought in as a left winger. I think he was brought in as a 10. And then it was left to Odegaard to figure out whether or not he was going to make that position his own, or whether or not he needs to be moved more deeper into midfield. But the way that I'm seeing our midfield, like I would rather see Rice in the 6, Lewis Skelly in the 8, and Eze in the 10.
Yeah, we need that ball carrier in the midfield.
Oh, God.
We saw it against Athletic how Skelly did that.
Mate, I'm telling you, like, I was truly trying to think of the last time we had or even seen a midfield run like that. Like the only game that I could think of that really comes to mind is that 2-1 win against Barcelona all those years back when we still had Fabregas and Wilshere in the midfield. Like, I remember Wilshere making those runs, right?
Oh.
As well as Fabregas, but I feel we've been missing that component in our game so much.
Yeah, I think also like we saw some glimpses from Smith Rowe at some points, but like it didn't last. But we're talking still going back to Odegaard, right? And Eze, of course. Let me ask you this because I never had a chance to ask you this. Do you think we sign Eze if Havertz doesn't get injured? And would Eze go to Spurs? Would he be there right now? Because Havertz got injured and it literally took what it felt like few seconds. That's done. We steal the deal. He's here pretty much. It like in blink of an eye.
It's a great question. I mean, however much you want to take with a grain of salt from what these journalists have said, like they supposedly Berta had the deal already squared away up to the point of the signature, and it was just a matter of that injury that had really pushed it over the line. So on one hand, I do believe that we would have made the signing simply because I think that this is a Berta signing. I don't think this is a signing that Arteta wanted to make. I don't think this is a player that he wanted to begin with, and I think we're seeing it on the pitch. Like every single match. We know Mikel will change tactics to get the best out of players that he wants to get the best out of, whether it be Mikel Merino in the false 9, whether it be the German donkey in any position on the pitch. He will do whatever is necessary to get the best out of his players that he likes, that he has invested his time in. For someone like Eze, there was this stupid little thing that how like the BBC and like the Premier League, like they'll sometimes do like little like op-ed interviews with like the managers, like talking about like things like in their past or whatever. Like there was this one interview that they had with Mikel, where Mikel was basically asked to describe a word defining a player that he had played with in the past, and when the name Alexis Sanchez came to mind, he said the word chaos. And as we know, Arteta is not someone who likes chaos. He likes control. And so when I see a player like Eze coming in, it is the antithesis to what Mikel likes. Truly, really and truly. So to that end, I still believe that we would have signed just because like Berta is moving in, like the Godfather in this shit. Like he really is, and what I mean, like probably the best backdoor deal that we have, back room sign that we have brought in since David Dean. Really and truly. The only part of me that would have the part of me that thinks, and I'm probably fucking rambling at this point. The only point that I don't believe we would have signed him is just because if it's Arsenal, if it makes sense, we won't do it.
Yeah. I get it. But yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I said this about a month ago, something like that, on stream and on TikTok and on short. I basically turned it into them that we need chaos. And ironically enough, in the attack, I was backing Madueke because while Saka was out, he was doing that chaos to some extent, which actually helped us. Like, if we forget about his non-existent end product and all this stuff and final third decision-making most of the time, he was something we needed in the attack. We need that chaos, that unpredictability, because if you look at, let's just say PSG last year, their whole attack is a question mark at the end of the day. You don't know what Barcola is going to do, Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, Dembele, what they're going to do, where they're going to go. They shift around all over the place. And I think the fact that we are so pragmatic, it's kind of, makes easier to play against us. Yes, it looks boring. Opposing teams say it's very hard to track the runs when we try to open some spaces. It is. At the same time, if you stick to the game plan, and if we don't have set pieces from that point of view, 9 times out of 10, we are goalless.
Mm-hmm.
There's no that creativity part. And this is another thing. I thought Havertz will be put back into the squad as soon as he is back. And that is a big worry because Gyökeres in 9 games has 3 goals. And I was yesterday? I think it was yesterday on League Gunner stream, and they were talking with Aaron and Shane about this. The fact that Gyökeres has 17 shots in 9 games, less than 2 per game.
Yeah.
And Haaland had 37. Like Murphy from Newcastle had more shots. Bowen, Semenyo, even the striker from Sunderland, whatever his name is, I genuinely don't remember. Even he had more shots from striker position. So it just shows that how much our attack is slowed down and very unimaginative. Let's just put it that way, because I still believe that Gyökeres, basically we play Gyökeres like we are playing Havertz. And unfortunately for Gyökeres, he has 2 bricks for legs and he cannot do the link-up play. He doesn't have that in his arsenal. And ironically enough, Havertz has that in his arsenal, more than Gyökeres. The issue is, again, on the other hand, Havertz doesn't have the finishing touch. And Gyökeres, we would say, has. If we could combine and get the best of both worlds, like Julian Alvarez, for example, or something like that, it would make sense. But at the moment, we are basically, one way or the other, shooting ourselves in the foot. At least that's how I see it.
I mean, overall, I agree with you. I'm personally not entertaining any Gyökeres slander, or as a slander for that matter. You know, like, I mean, like there's a lot of fans out here talking about, Gyökeres is shit. Gyökeres is worse than Benjamin Tesco. Like, no, like, I'm sorry, but no, like we're absolutely doing nothing to get the best out of Gyökeres. And you're like, I didn't think that was a great stat that you mentioned. Sure, those Arteta sexuals, they will not like that statistic. You know, like 2 shots per match. Like, give me a break. You rather, like, I think what's always bothered me is that, like, we've known the kind of striker that Gyökeres is. Like, he's a finisher. Like, you need to feed him in the 18-yard box. You need to feed him in the in the 6-yard box. You need to give the ball to him, like, in the final third. He's not techie. He's not a runner, and that's fine. Not every player on the pitch needs to be that. We saw those 2 goals that he had scored against Atletico. Like, they were scrappy goals. Like, they were shit goals. But the most important thing was that he was in the right position at the right time with that striker's mentality. I think a 4-4-2 would be interesting, but I don't want to see 29 anywhere near this squad. I want to see him on the first flight, middle seat, back to Germany. Like I mean, like I just I don't I'm done. Like 1 year was enough of him. 2 years was enough of him. The fact that he's still here collecting money, like nah, he needs to bounce. Like I'd be okay with maybe like a Trossard. Trossard Gyökeres, like up front, like
Martinelli,
or even like a Martinelli Gyökeres as well. Yeah, I think Trossard would be like complimentary in the sense that he's, he is a bit of a support striker in that sense. Like, I think he would be able to create a little more space for Gyökeres to run out, like off the shoulder. I think Martinelli offers us like so much, so much pace. But we also know that Gyökeres is pacey too. Like we even saw like last year, like against the game in Sporting, like Gyökeres had I think he was almost like clearing Saliba like on the run, right?
Yeah, he spun him on everything.
Right. So like yeah, man, like I don't know, like everyone is just too emotionally attached to it, like to a German pack mule that's already proven to not be up to snuff, like. And if we were feeding Gyökeres like how we've been feeding 29 all those chances, like all that XG, like we wouldn't be having this conversation about it.
100%. But I also kind of feel that the link-up play, which excels over Gyökeres, that helps him to get in those finishing positions, which obviously Gyökeres struggles in. And I think that also could be a big reason why we maybe are not seeing the best of Gyökeres. But he doesn't get no service, let's be real. Less than 2 shots per game from a designated striker who scores over 100 goals in 2 seasons. There must be something wrong, and not with the striker per se in this situation. Like, I just put it that way. But yeah, this one about should we loan out Wanjeri? Ultimately,
if we're not going to play him, then loan him.
Like, there's no point keeping him in the team.
I can't. Maybe it was on Lee's channel yesterday. They were talking about like if Ethan were to go out on loan, where would Mikel allow him to go? And they were ultimately saying, well, he's not going to let Ethan go to Brighton or to Bournemouth simply because they know how to play relatively attacking football, and it's only going to show Mikel up and ask like why he was not getting any game time at the Emirates. So he'd probably go to like a Palace or a Fulham or a West Ham, but at the end of the day, like Arteta's ruining his development. Like we remember several years ago, he was gung fucking ho to get Ethan on the pitch. 15 years old, breaking all those records.
Yeah.
Now we're what 2-3 years later, and Ethan can't even get a kick in. Like it's absolutely crazy. Like in my perspective, he should be one of the first names off the bench for sub.
Yeah, we should be utilizing him more, 100%. But somehow we don't. Even with these players being injured and out, we don't utilize him at least enough. Definitely. Like, it's actually insane, but hey. But yeah, unfortunately, as long as we keep playing the impotent local football, Gyökeres will be of stress. It is like that, obviously, and that's the other thing. People suddenly forget how we were tearing out our hair from donkey's misses from 5 meters out, like against United when we went out in the FA Cup. Those were fun times. Like, he suddenly became prime Torres or Inzaghi, and we miss him. That's the nuts part.
Yeah. Oh,
that is the nuts part. But yeah, but there also is not a place where to loan Ethan out, because any team that would take him play actually, well, proper football, which means Ethan, I would say 80% chance he's going to shine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only going to make the manager look bad at the end of the day, our manager per se, because even like teams that would take him most likely would be some mid-table teams, and those would be those Brightons, Fulhams, Bournemouth, who are fighting their up. If you loan him out to abroad, right, most likely it would be one of the Bundesliga teams. And again, we are looking at the usual suspects like Leipzig.
Yeah.
Like,
right. Well, I mean, if I recall correct, we had also sent Smith Rowe out there on loan, right?
Yeah, we did, and that worked well, kind of well, to be honest, to some extent. Like, it's actually kind of wild if you think about it. And yeah, Hendon's also saying, like, pointless to loan out Ethan. It's still a long way. Ethan will play plenty of matches as more and more injuries kick in. The injuries, yeah, they start to pile up, which at the moment there are no panic. There is no panic, but we can utilize backups. But if it comes to a point where we need backups for the backups, then we could be in big trouble.
See, I don't know, like maybe it's just my PTSD, but I am panicking. I don't give a shit if it's October. I don't give a shit if it's March. I couldn't care if we are top of the league with 10, 12 points, like ahead, like any injury. Well, I won't say any injury, but especially at the beginning of the season, there are a lot of injuries that are avoidable just based off the fact that we're not rotating our squad enough. Like Madueke, probably a bit of an unfortunate like injury.
Yeah,
like he like he was showing a lot of promise, but certainly as all those Stamford Bridge like fellows would tell you, like there is no end product there. So so he has to work on that. But certainly to that end, there will be injuries around. I think that Hendon, as well as I would agree that, as well as we all agree that, like there just needs to be more, I guess, equitable rotation, like throughout each match, keeping everyone sharp, keeping everyone hungry. Yeah, I just don't think I don't think we're doing that, not only for Ethan, but also for like Lewis Skelly, as well as for that other bull. What's his name? Salmon something? I think
Salmon, yeah.
Like I mean, like what? Let me ask you this: like how strong do you want to go against Brighton tomorrow?
Well, knowing how we do against these Premier League teams, and they can field their best team as well. I guess they did a preview show, right? And the starting 11 was Kepa, Timber, Mosquera, Hincapié, Skelly, Zubimendi, Merino, Vangieri in the 10, Saka, Gyökeres, and Martinelli. Now that Martinelli is out, most likely it's going to be Trossard.
Interesting lineup.
Well, Rice needs a break. Like, I cannot put him in every game. Like, let's just put it that way. And Timber is the only one that's under scrutiny in those terms. And Saka, to be honest. But knowing if it was Wenger, right? We just know what he's going to put out. At this stage, it would be Vangieri, Max Dauman, and Hincapié, and he would even make Norgard look like, I don't know, at least Alexander Song or something, and he would win the game most likely, and nobody would even be surprised. But right now, damn, big up Cooper. Yeah, but it's a weird situation about this. Definitely, I don't want to go overly strong because we should be beating them. At the same time, we cannot go too weak because it's a Premier League team and very good Premier League team. It also depends what kind of Brighton we get. It's also hot and cold in that regard. We can get Brighton who loses to, like, for example, Wolves, but we can get Brighton who beats City or Liverpool. If we get one of those, it's painful. And you saw what I put in WhatsApp group yesterday about the record against Brighton in recent times, and the last time we lost to them in the Cup also was at home, 3-1 in Carabao Cup. Like, that is not great, definitely. I wanted to ask quick opinion on this, because I think you definitely have seen this, because there definitely was at some point I put this out.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh yes, I think I also responded to it in the WhatsApp group.
Yep.
So just for all you stat merchants and calculator adorners, so right now, like our open play goal percentage is 69%, which is nice. But to that end, in case if anyone wanted a contrast, right? So we look at prime Stoke City of 2011 through 2013, right? So Stoke City 2011, 2012, their percentage of goals from set pieces in 2011, 2012 was 59%. In contrast to our 31% currently. And
wait, what?
I'm sorry. I apologize. No,
69.
Yeah, right. Our percentage of goals from set pieces currently are 69%. Theirs in 2011-2012 was 59%, and in 2012-2013 it was 62%. So as of right now, again, still very early in the season, but as of right now, we have a greater percentage of goals from set pieces than prime fucking Stoke City. You know, like so to that end, you know, I acknowledge set pieces, they're an important part of the attack. It is a good card to have in your deck. But it cannot be the only card in your deck, you know, because we know that eventually teams are going to wise up. Teams are going to be a lot more shrewd defending these types of set pieces. Whether we overcome that, different story. But we need to get our forward line striking. You know, not just Gyökeres, even though he is the crown jewel of that attacking line. But we need to get Saka firing. We need to get Martinelli firing, and we also need to get Eze and or Odegaard firing too. I mean, if Arteta wants to play this game that he wants goals to come from all areas of the pitch, then we need to get everyone scoring, especially the front line.
Yeah, and that's the nuts part, because Saka got injured last year in December. He was, I'm still gonna say, rushed back in March, right? And he finished, well, he got injured as the assist leader at the time with 11 or something like that assists. No, 13 assists, something like that. He came back, he had still 13 assists, and not a single player was still in double-digit assists. Still by then, almost 4 months out, and nobody came close to him. And at the end of the season, we didn't have a single player in double-digit goals. We had 1-9, 2-8, and 1-7, if I'm not mistaken. And we shared the goals around, but if we look from the overall perspective, as we were. Holy crap, I'm dying.
Someone get this man some water ASAP. Come on, get the super chats in, guys. Get some water. Get some water donations, guys.
I got the Arteta-titis, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. But overall, yeah, it's not great, because we have seen how we can play attacking football. And now we are avoiding it like it's the plague. Something like that in those times, because our players are not as bad as we are seeing for the last 2 seasons in the attack. Our players definitely are not as bad. And that is obviously, I'm one of those toxic and negative critics and all this stuff. But yeah, I also always try to make that statement that they are not as bad as we are seeing on the pitch at all.
For sure. I mean, I think, well, I think just based off of that second half performance against Atletico Madrid, I think we know that, or at least for me, what's most frustrating is that we know that it's in their locker, but this manager is not allowing the players to take that quality out of the locker and to show us on the pitch. And ironically, Arteta is always talking about, oh, we want a more ruckus environment and atmosphere at the Emirates. Okay, play that way so then people and fans get more excited and more enthusiastic. So I mean, it's definitely one of the two prevailing thoughts, and ultimately this season's end is going to be that confirmation. Either the players are good enough and the manager isn't, or the manager is good enough but the players aren't good enough.
Yeah, one or the other. Well,
or maybe a little bit of column B too,
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So basically, that kind of goes into this, that we just looked at goals, best defensive records, set pieces are only thing we need. We are the best team in Europe. We are the XG champions from last year. Nobody comes close to us. Is our fan base overreacting?
Is the Pope Catholic?
Well, who knows, to be honest. I'm not gonna get into that one.
Yeah, the Pope. The Pope is
should be.
No, it's as I've been I've been making the rounds of recent, dropping some facts, and I also dropped it, like in the WhatsApp group as well. And like we have seen this time and time and time and time again. We have been in winning positions in the second half of the season and still failed to get over the line. Whether it been in 2007, 2008, like when Eduardo had broke his leg, like over at St. Andrews, we were top of the league there, and then we slowly faltered and finished in third that season. In 2013, 2014, we had probably had one of our best first half season performances since 22, 23. And then I'll never forget this match because I was watching it on the telly. We got smacked by Liverpool at Anfield like 5-1, like in February. I think it's like February 1st, 2014. And then we finished like third or fourth that year. 2015, 2016, Liverpool, Man City, United, Chelsea, they all dropped off. All the media was saying, "Oh, it's Arsenal's to lose." They were saying it in September, October. All the predicting octopi, all the like sports analysts, all the betting folks, all the all the fucking people. They were all saying, "Oh, it's Arsenal's to lose." And then, surely enough, Leicester comes walking in and they pip us for it, and we do absolutely nothing in the transfer window that summer and in January to get over the line.
Wait,
in 2000,
that the infamous Czech window?
Was that the Czech window in 15? No, I think Czech was in either 13 or 14. I want to say
Arsenal signed per Czech. That was Arsenal have signed per Czech 10 million. That was June 29th, 2015.
Wow. Okay. So that was the year. Yeah. Yep. That was the year that we said, you know what? Everyone else is screwing around. We'll just coast through. Who's gonna pip us to the title? Not some scrub team from the Midlands. Right. Then we saw in 22-23, we were top of the league for 93% of the season. We were first place up through like week 33, and we did not get over the line. Or even for that matter, just last year, we were top of the league at week 36. 2 games left, and we still didn't get over the line. And so now we have all these Arteta sexual donuts, saying, "Oh, well, we're gonna win the league in October," as if there hasn't been all of this preceding, historical context that we have not gotten over the line. So again, like things look very nice, things look very rosy in October, despite the fact that there are still some very grave concerns about our squad. But there is such a grand space of time between now and like the third or fourth week of May. Like we need, like, I don't give a damn. Again, I don't give a damn about records. I don't give a damn about anything. Just get me the trophy, get me the league, and give me a domestic cup too. And then while you're at it, give me the Champions League as well. Again, like this man has had £1 billion to spend. He's had 6 years. Why am I going to give him any credit for doing the most basic and minimal job? Because I'm sure that you would agree, as anyone else would hear as well. You give any other manager, any other experienced manager that has won something in their CV, you give them the same amount of time and money and patience and unquestioned authority and support that Mikel has been given. I mean, he's been given carte blanche for the last 5.5 going on 6 years. He's had everything. Any experienced manager not only builds a squad, but they build a title-winning squad with half the money spent. And people want us to start like applauding and congratulating Arteta as if he's done something so unparalleled and unprecedented in football history. The only thing unprecedented that he's done is spent this much amount of money, won nothing, and kept his job. No other head coach in soccer or any sport across the history of time, no one else has done this. Again, like, I love to be proven wrong, but if someone can think of any manager that has stayed at one single club that has spent this much amount of money, and since those expenditures has won nothing, they're all out of a job, except for Arteta.
Yeah, because if it was a simple business, the same business already would be an administration already into it. It's bankruptcy, everything. Like that's the biggest thing in those times. But yeah, it's actually nuts if you think about it. It's six years. Yeah, 6 years, and well, that's what 2/3 way through Wenger's 9-year trophy drought.
Mm-hmm.
2/3, which people say that it's not much. I've seen that. At the same time, Wenger at least had, well, lack for a better word, credit in the bank. Let's just put it that way, for at least to some extent. Arteta has nothing in the bank. And maybe some coins from pickpockets he got last year, but otherwise, like that's about it. Like, I don't know, where is this confidence every time coming from? That if you look at the past proof, well, he has won nothing. So where is the proof that he's gonna do it now? All the time is the same story, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And we kind of are, for me personally at the moment, the way I see Arteta, right? He's our Roberto Martinez, what he was for Belgium. Golden generation, phenomenal players. What did he win with Belgium? Well, nothing. And we are becoming, let's just say, Liverpool under Brendan Rodgers. This year is our year. We're gonna win the league. We're gonna win the Champions League. When we end up short at the end of the season, oh, but remember back in the day when we won the league and is yours gold and all this stuff. Like, it's History Channel we are at the moment. And I'm not gonna lie, since we have murals already for all these men out there and the dog, I would not put it past somehow that Arteta is getting a statue outside Emirates if he wins Premier League or something like that. Don't genuinely
do not speak it into existence.
Like, I wouldn't be okay if he wins Champions League. What we're doing then? That's big. What if? But let's just dream for a second. Big up, Claire. Big up.
I'm. So here's the thing, right? So I've seen enough of Mikel. Well, again, I never wanted him at this club. I never wanted him to replace Fabregas in midfield. Never wanted him to replace Wenger as manager. I'm just going to say that right out of the gate. If he wins the Champions League, he'll never leave. We will have him for the next 30, 40 years, probably until either he's dead or we're dead. But so I just want people just to come to that realization that that if he were to do something like that, he ain't ever fucking leaving.
I'm not fucking leaving.
I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. It would be insane. I cannot fathom even that.
And I'm very much in the thought of I think he is a cancer at this club. I think all of his little fangirls are also microcosms of cancer at this club. And as you would imagine in our medical profession here, the way to cut out cancer is sometimes you have to cut the limb off. That's how they were doing it back in the day. So, for example, if you had incurred gangrene on your foot,
it's gone.
They're cutting off your foot, and I'm afraid if Andrew, if he wins, I think he does get more time. If he doesn't, if he doesn't win, I think he's getting sacked.
Oh, if he wins Champions League, he's getting more time without shadow of a doubt. 100%.
Hendon, from your lips to God's ears, my friend. I'm telling you, I
Bayern haven't lost this season yet. 14 games, 14 wins. They are like nuts in that regard at the moment. We'll see how we fare against them, because that will be a very interesting matchup, to say the least, because they have our number. We, a few years ago, lost to arguably the worst Bayern team in a decade. And we arguably had the best team in a decade. And we still couldn't get the job done. It was close, kind of. But yeah, it wasn't definitely great in that regard. But I'm worried. I'm some extent, like if he stays, what we gonna do then?
Yeah,
What we gonna do then?
I was like there I was on Northside's channel earlier, and there was a Bayern fan there, and so I'm not sure if you know, because I didn't know, but like Musiala, he's still out of the picture.
Yeah, he's still injured. Yeah.
But what he was saying is that Upamecano and also Kim Min Jae, they are supposedly sharpening their game up, not necessarily the scrubs that they were 2 or 3 years ago. Harry Kane's always been a problem for us as well up front. Like whether he was playing in white or playing in the German red.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I always think like our biggest hurdle is more psychological than anything. You know, and it goes back to this manager that like in any top down organization, whether whether it be at work or at school or what have you, like the psychology, the system of beliefs from the top, they disperse downward, and I fear that Arteta has psychologically damaged a lot of these players, just from the fact of getting so close to getting over the line but not doing so. I mean, like, it is such a tantalizing and unfulfilling sentiment to have.
Yeah, like it's boring. Let's just put it that way. It's definitely boring in those things. Okay, I want to run something by you. Let me know what you think, because I think you have seen all of these. I would think so, but thoughts on this?
Billion pounds spent to have Tapas Pulis, like, as manager, right? I mean, golly, I'm telling you, like, truly up is down these days. Like some rather, again, like always a very classic inquiry. Well, like, if Arteta leaves, who would you have as replacement? I'll have your mother as replacement. I don't care at this stage. Like, it's such a boring question, and besides, like someone's mother would have the same level of experience that Mikel Arteta had walking into the job on day one. Like that's the entire point. You could give it to some random schmuck off the street. They're like they had the same level of experience that Arteta had. Like I'll never forgive this club for not sacking Wenger in 2014, 2015.
Also, he went on a high.
Right.
Was it that season we won the FA Cup?
I think we did.
Yeah, I think we did. I think he should have gone on a high when he won the FA Cup.
For sure. And also, Klopp was still available at Dortmund at the time, and that should have been rather Klopp was the most obvious successor to Wenger. Like he had the same football philosophy. He had the same type of philosophy towards like youth development. He was the most obvious successor. Yeah, no, I mean, like, honestly, I just want the season to be over. If we win, great. I want to be proven wrong. But if if he doesn't win, get out of this club. Take all of your fanboys with you, please. ASAP, like Rocky.
Yeah, because if you think the managers that have been available when we signed Arteta, when we extended Arteta on multiple occasions, they have all won. Flick, Enrique, Ancelotti, Conte. Let's just say Inzaghi as well was available at certain stages. There have been some managers. And that is the thing. Only thing we have left at the moment, I would say, where is it? It's loading. Give me a second. Is this?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet copium, and that's all we have. That's all we have at the moment. Unfortunately.
I think they're on their reserve tanks, though. I mean, it's like some people think that Arteta is going to be given more years. Again, we have never seen Josh and Berta at games. Well, I mean, like, obviously not Berta, but I mean, we've never seen Josh. Oh my days, that is. Ooh, who would be mini me in this? I guess, like, in this regard, would it be Odegaard?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. damn. Okay, I can work with that. Yeah, but I think I haven't watched Austin Powers in so long. Was it the pinky finger or the index finger? Yeah, it was the pinky finger. That's right. It was the pinky finger. Bro, I was watching like a recent clip of was it Gold Member, right? I mean, this was Beyonce before like Beyonce really came Beyonce, bro. They had Minnie be humping her leg. I mean, I swear down, they were so unhinged in that movie. They really were.
Back in the day, back in the day. It was all fun days back then. Fun days, let's just put it that way. These days, none of that applies, to be honest, unfortunately. It's actually kind of insane. But yeah, I kind of have to wrap it up as well. Words for Brighton. What did you expect from Brighton tomorrow?
Should be moving on to the next round. I don't want to hear none of this, bigger fish to fry. I don't want to hear none of these excuses. I mean,
injuries. It's already here.
No,
they're already. Where is it? There have been somewhere. I already read in the chat. The top Gunners' excuses already are the injuries. By the time we play Bayern, there are too many injuries, and there already are injuries.
Yeah. I mean, almost as if we haven't just had like one of the largest window, in fact, the largest window in our club history, and yet people are still using the excuses of injuries. I mean, we all know that this that this manager's solicitors and lawyers they'll like they would have an easier time finding an excuse than they would finding Waldo. It should be a simple, well, I won't say simple, but at least where we are in phase, whoever fucking knows at this stage, like
it's not about the phases anymore.
You're right. It's not about phases and projects anymore. You're right. So at that stage, it should be win or bust.
Yeah, it's do or die, for the lack of a better word. Yeah. Any predictions? Score predictions for tomorrow?
I would say optimistically 3-1. I mean, we should not be having such a hard time with a team like Brighton, or really for that matter, like any team that's perhaps like not like a Liverpool or a City. I think what bothers me is especially like when we go to teams like I'm really interested about this Sunderland match.
I'm worried.
Like I'm licking my chops at that because because honestly, like we should be going up there to the Stadium of Light, battering them, like reminding them that you just got promoted. Hold that, right? We should rather we need to be making statements. So I hope tomorrow's a 3-1 statement. I mean, a statement in the sense that we're actually invested towards domestic silverware and the major honors as well. So hopefully 3-1, but I can also expect like a 1-1 going going to penalties because
and that would be the word. No, if Kepa plays, I would be less worried, but I would be worried nonetheless. If Raya is in goal, I would be hella scared. If it goes to penalties, that is the nuts part.
What do you
think? For tomorrow, well, we must win. It's a must win, no matter how you look at it. If Arteta says after every season, strive for the best, never sell for second or whatever he says, always go one step forward. Last year it was semi-final. The next step forward, well, first things first would be score a goal in a semi-final, but technically speaking, it is to get to a final. So we have kind of no way back as well on that. But by his own words, the Messiah himself. So we have to win. I went for what did I say? 2-0. I think I said yesterday. 2-0. Similar like Port Vale, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I expect at least. I'll just put it that. And I expect Manieri to start. Because if he doesn't start, when is he gonna play?
Yeah.
When is he gonna start? We have bigger fish to fry flashbacks. Don't be surprised if that comes up.
Oh man, please don't. Yeah, like I mean, like the lineup that you had mentioned earlier. I mean, I'm not exactly opposed to that. Like I think my concern is just like the lack of speed in midfield. Like Zubimendi, Marino in midfield. I don't know that just
that doesn't. Well, they have played together a lot, to be honest. They should be knowing what is what.
True. I mean, chemistry wise, I don't dispute, but like I just, it's just the lack of pace and power for me, like
Yeah.
in the midfield. Like that's like my biggest concern.
Yeah, as long as Norgard is not in the six.
Maybe he'll be connecting to the VPN tomorrow. Who knows?
Maybe. But yeah, people, big up Dr. Seymour for coming on. It was a pleasure to having you on for the first time ever. Thank you for sparing an hour of your life to be
No,
here.
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. No, it was an absolute pleasure, man. It's no waste at all. Never is.
Big up to you. Subscribe to America's Public Servant, people.
Bless.
Link is in the chat. Go subscribe, show him some love. And yeah, tomorrow I won't be live because Arsenal play in the evening, as always. So hopefully we have some positive things to talk about on Thursday. But for today, like the stream, subscribe to Dr. Seymour, and hopefully Arsenal, well, for lack of a better word, makes us happy tomorrow. Peace.